Today I'm going to be talking about some of the new ships and factions coming to R3D2FoC in version 3.1. Yes, there will be more factions coming in this version. I hope you guys are excited, as well as these new ships that you see in front of you, and that's about it. So we're going to get into this. So first up, for new ships for the Galactic Empire, there will be more than this, but this is the basics, the big ones. We have the Victory 2 class Star Destroyer, of course. You know, it's a Victory 2. Not much special about it. There is the Dreadnought 2, which is essentially an Imperial version of the Dreadnought heavy cruiser that is going to be more expensive but have more firepower than the basic Dreadnought. Next, we have the Imperial Nebulon B frigate. This is basically the Imperial version of the Nebulon B frigate, which is kind of obvious, but yeah, the Empire will not have the basic Nebulon B anymore. They'll just have this thing because, you know, I feel like it's self-exclamatory. And the Venator class. I don't think this needs any introduction. The first new faction coming in 3.1 is the Corellian Resistance, which will be led by Garmbel Iblis, similar to Star Wars Legends, in which he split away from the Rebel Alliance to lead his own war against the Galactic Empire. This will happen, and this will be a playable faction. It will be led by him. Their roster will consist of Dreadnought heavy cruisers, as well as all those Corellian ships that never really have any real reason to be in mods for Empire at War, but somehow make their way in there anyway. That now they actually have a reason to, because they'll make up the Corellian core roster. The next factions that will be coming to R3D2FoC 3.1 are the Imperial Warlords, which, if you don't know what the Imperial Warlords are, they are a series of Imperial factions that splintered off the main Empire after the Battle of Endor. Big Legends buffs, or anyone that plays Thrawn's Revenge will know this, and the 4 Warlord factions coming to R3D2FoC in the next version are the Penastar Alignment, Warlord Zinja's Empire, Greater Maldruge, seen here with the Crimson Command Star Destroyer, and the Ariadu Authority. All 4 will be playable, and their presence actually plays into the next big part of this mod that I will now tell you about. Perhaps the biggest feature of this version will be the inclusion of different eras of Star Wars in this mod. Now, if you guys paid close attention or understand what I just told you about the new factions coming, you may think that I'm copying Thrawn's Revenge, and the answer is no. I had these plans to add this stuff to Empire at War, and although Thrawn's Revenge did it as well, no, Thrawn's Revenge is not my inspiration for this. I was going to do this anyway. But the next feature coming, as I said, will be additional eras. Now, unlike Thrawn's Revenge, the eras will not pass in-game. Essentially, to play in an era, you choose a scenario, and every scenario will have its own era. Every era will basically be a unique tech set of ships and heroes for any given faction. Basically the same way it functions as Thrawn's Revenge, except that it's determined by a scenario, it won't progress. So really it's just everything is determined by scenario now. Sandbox campaigns will have no given scenario. They will basically, you'll have everything that fits from every era. Obviously, you can't have every single hero from every single era, especially in factions like the Rebellion and Empire, because then the factions would just be so broken that mod wouldn't even be worth playing anymore. But aside from that, there's also the inclusion of more content this way. So I can actually fit ships and stuff in that normally wouldn't fit in the era that I've been developing the mod in primarily. The current eras that will be coming will be late Clone Wars, which is basically like the period right after Order 66, basically the Young Empire, the Galactic Civil War, as soon as the post-Endor period with the Imperial Warlords, obviously, the Thrawn campaign, and a couple others. I'm not going to tell you all of them right now, because I don't want to spoil the surprise. But I hope you guys are excited for R3D2FoC 3.1. Hope you guys are excited for the new factions. And if you have any suggestions, or just want to talk about the mod in general, be sure to join my Discord, which will be linked in the description.